Hi, my name is Hilda Caceres, and I'm here to talk about employee privacy rights as the company is considering a new cell phone plan. Unfortunately, they might want to adjust the contribution to 25% due to the phone records are completely private. The employer should only be able to view information that is business related since they are only paying for the business portion of the phone usage. In today's digital workplace, an employer's trust is valuable as cost efficiency. Once privacy is compromised, trust is difficult to restore. CVS Health currently contributes to employee cell phone plans to reduce coverage up to 24% despite limited financial contribution. CVS proposes to maintain full access to employee phone records, including private texts and calls. Employees have raised ethical and privacy concerns about this policy. Now, the key question is whether partial employer payment justifies unrestricted access to personal communications stored on an employee's phone. And I have some definitions for you. Employee privacy rights is defined by workplace ethics and employment law standards, which is to mean an employee's reasonable expectation that personal communications and data remains private and protected from unnecessary employer intrusion. My second definition is business-related communication, which is defined by human resources and compliance standards, which is to mean that the phone usage is directly related to job duties, work assignments, or company operations during these work hours. The framework for this decision should be that based on ethical responsibility, employee trust, legal compliance, and alignment with the CVS's health corporate values as a healthcare organization that handles sensitive personal information decisions should be balanced to the cost management with respect for privacy and long-term employee engagement. We negate the resolution that employers should have access to all phone records if they pay for any portion of the phone plan. The course of action we suggest will support is that CVS Health should limit its access strictly to business-related phone usage only, while protecting employees' personal messages, calls, and app data. This approach maintains ethical standards, protects employees' privacy, and preserves trust without eliminating cost controls. So, these are one of my arguments. Full phone access violates reasonable employee privacy expectations. Our argument is that accessing personal communication is an unreasonable invasion of employee privacy, even if CVS subsides part of the phone plan. The evidence to support this is that the federal law, including the Electronic Communications Privacy Act, limits employer monitoring unless there is a clear business necessity. HR experts agree that partial reimbursement does not remove an employee's reasonable expectation of privacy, particularly for personal texts and calls. The Society for Human Resource Management also states that monitoring policies should be strictly limited to business-related purposes. This matters because overly invasive monitoring can damage employees' trust, expose CVS to legal risk, and harm its reputation as a healthcare company that values confidential stuff. Now, my second argument is the invasive monitoring harms employees' morale and productivity. Our argument is that constant surveillance lowers morale and undermines CVS's health, workplace, and culture. The evidence to support this research shows employees who feel monitored are less engaged, less loyal, and more likely to leave. Allowing employers access to personal conversations creates fear rather than accountability and conflicts with CVS's ethical leadership standards. This matters because employees' disengagement and turnover are costly and ultimately outweigh the financial savings of partially subsiding the phone plans. Based on our arguments, we think you should take the following action, which are: while CVS Health has valid reasons to reduce cell phone plan costs, partial payment does not justify unrestricted access to employees' personal communications. Full monitoring of private texts and calls violates reasonable privacy expectations. Fully monitoring private texts and calls violates reasonable privacy expectations, damage trust, and conflicts with CVS's ethical responsibilities as a healthcare organization. Supporters may argue that employees' payment allows full access, or that they can't opt out the subsidy. However, payment does not equal ownership. Enforcing employees to choose between privacy and affordability is unfair. CVS should instead limit access strictly to business-related phone usages. This approach protects employees' trust, reduces legal risk, and supports long-term organizational success. So I really hope you consider my argument and reduce the cost for all the employees and make sure they have their employee privacy rights. Thank you.